morning, and thank you for joining us here at 6 o'clock.
In the aftermath of recent storms, some East Texas counties have issued disaster declarations. So if you live in one of these counties, what exactly does that mean? Simply put, it means a county cannot handle that disaster without outside resources. Before this week's storms ever hit, Smith County was already under a disaster declaration from severe weather in late May. That included a tornado at Lake Palestine and straight-line wind damage in places like Emerald Bay.
On the 23rd, we declared a disaster after the first storm, and we decided we needed to expand that.
The expansion County Judge Neil Franklin is talking about will now cover damage caused in the most recent storms. So if you live in a county that's issued one of these declarations, what does it mean?
And that gives us the opportunity to access more resources for us to utilize, but then also potential resources for all the citizens to utilize as well.
Resources like the points of distribution that were set up in Lindale and Chapel Hill this week, where the State Guard provided necessary relief items.
Tarp to help on the house a little bit, some ice and water in the MREs.
Along with immediate help, a disaster declaration also opens the door to possible federal aid. Vital to that process is you reporting storm damage on your property.
It will help the big picture in us determining eligibility for various forms of disaster assistance from the federal government, as well as just the extent of the damage. In some instances, it may look like loans, or for homes or businesses.
And to report storm damage to the state, you can scan the QR code on your screen or go to kltv.com. You can click on the big red box and you'll find a link under today's date.